The unwelcome guests. The first signs appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning at the Arecibo Deep Space Monitoring Station. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her screen, watching as multiple signatures blazed across the display. She rubbed her eyes and looked again. The signals remained, growing stronger with each passing second. "Director Martinez, you need to see this," she called across the control room. Within minutes, the room buzzed with activity. Scientists crowded around monitors, checking and rechecking the data. The readings were unmistakable. Multiple objects, clearly artificial in origin, were approaching Earth at sublight speeds. Their trajectory was direct, their formation perfect. "How many?" Director Martinez asked, his face pale. 73 vessels, Sarah replied. "All identical signatures. They'll reach Earth orbit in approximately 18 hours. The news spread through official channels faster than wildfire. Within the hour, world leaders convened in emergency sessions. Military commands activated dormant protocols. Scientists worldwide dropped their projects to focus on this unprecedented event. General Thomas Williams stood in the Pentagon's war room, watching as data streamed across multiple screens. "What's their ETA now?" 16 hours, sir, replied Lieutenant Colonel James Park. "They're decelerating at a constant rate. They'll arrive at Earth orbit with zero relative velocity." "That's precise," Williams muttered. "Too precise." As Earth waited, humanity did what it did best. It prepared. Broadcasting stations transmitted welcome messages in every conceivable format. Mathematical sequences, music, images of Earth's diversity, all beamed toward the approaching fleet. Military forces mobilized, not in aggression, but in readiness. Cities implemented emergency protocols while trying to maintain calm. Dr. Elena Vasquez, Earth's leading xenolinguist, worked with her team around the clock. "We're transmitting on every frequency," she reported to the United Nations Security Council via Secure Link. "If they have any interest in communication, they'll receive our messages." But as the hours ticked by, no response came. The alien fleet maintained its approach, silent as the void it traveled through. The ships arrived exactly as predicted. 73 vessels, each the size of a small city, arranged themselves in a perfect sphere around Earth. They maintained a distance of 100,000 kilometers, far enough to avoid interfering with satellites, but close enough to be visible to the naked eye during twilight hours. Captain Maria Rodriguez commanded the International Space Station during the arrival. She watched through the cupola as the massive ships took position. "Control, this is ISS. The vessels have stopped. They're beautiful." Indeed, the alien ships defied human engineering concepts. Their surfaces seemed to flow like liquid mercury, constantly shifting yet maintaining their overall shape. No visible propulsion systems, no obvious weapons, no communication arrays that human technology could identify. Days passed. Earth transmitted continuously. Greetings, mathematical proofs, music, art. The aliens remained silent. Their ships hung in space, neither advancing nor retreating, neither threatening nor welcoming. Dr. Chen monitored the fleet's energy signatures from her station. "They're not dormant," she reported. "We're detecting massive power readings, but nothing directed outward. It's like they're waiting for something." The initial fear began to transform into frustration. World leaders argued in closed sessions. Some advocated for a more aggressive approach, others counseled patience. The public grew restless, their initial terror giving way to curiosity and impatience. "Why won't they talk to us?" became the question on everyone's lips. Professor Alan Mitchell, a renowned psychologist, appeared on global broadcasts. "Perhaps they're studying us," he suggested. "Their silence might be intentional, a way to observe our uninfluenced behavior." But even this explanation felt hollow as days turned into weeks. The alien fleet remained perfectly stationary, perfectly silent. No scans revealed anything about their interiors. No probes sent toward them returned any useful data. They were as mysterious as the day they arrived. Colonel Park studied tactical assessments in his office. "Sir, some nations are getting restless. There's talk of sending manned missions to make direct contact." General Williams nodded grimly. "I know, but we can't risk provocation. Not until we understand their intentions." The world settled into an uneasy routine. The alien fleet became a constant presence, visible in the night sky, a reminder of humanity's changed status in the universe. Children grew up knowing aliens were real but silent. Scientists developed new theories daily, each more speculative than the last. Dr. Vasquez continued her work, though frustration marked her features. "We've tried everything," she told her team. "Every communication method we can imagine. Binary, prime numbers, physical constants, even interpretive dance beamed as video signals. Nothing gets a response." Some began to wonder if the aliens were actually alive. Perhaps these were automated vessels, following ancient programming. Perhaps their creators were long dead, and these ships were monuments to a vanished civilization. Religious leaders offered various interpretations. Some saw the aliens as angels, others as demons. Most simply admitted they had no answers, that this event challenged their understanding as much as anyone else's. In homes around the world, families gathered each evening to look at the sky. The alien ships, faintly visible as they reflected sunlight, had become part of Earth's new normal. Children drew pictures of them in school. Artists incorporated them into their work. Musicians composed symphonies inspired by their presence. But beneath the surface adaptation, tension simmered. How long could Earth remain in this state of suspended animation? How long could humanity tolerate being ignored by visitors who had traveled across the stars to reach them? Dr. Chen made another observation that sent ripples through the scientific community. "The ship's positions haven't varied by even a meter," she reported. "In 4 weeks, despite all gravitational influences, solar wind, everything, they haven't moved at all. That's not just advanced technology. That's technology operating on principles we don't understand." As the first month ended, Earth found itself in an impossible situation. 73 alien vessels surrounded the planet, maintaining perfect formation, perfect silence. They posed no immediate threat, yet their very presence was a form of psychological warfare humanity had never imagined. General Williams stood at his window, looking at the night sky where points of light marked the alien positions. "What do you want?" he whispered to the stars. "Why are you here?" The aliens, as always, offered no answer. Earth waited, watched, and wondered. The greatest event in human history had become the greatest mystery, and there was nothing anyone could do but endure the silence and hope that someday, somehow, it would break. The vanishing. 6 weeks after the arrival, something changed. Dr. Sarah Chen noticed it first, a slight fluctuation in the energy readings from ship designation A7. She almost dismissed it as sensor error until she saw the pattern repeat. "Director Martinez," she called, her voice carrying an urgency that made heads turn throughout the control room. "A7 is showing increased internal activity. Something's happening." Within minutes, every monitoring station on Earth confirmed the readings. All 73 ships showed synchronized energy spikes. After 6 weeks of absolute stillness, the alien fleet was awakening. President Elena Harper addressed the world from the United Nations headquarters. "Citizens of Earth, we're observing new activity from our visitors. While we don't yet understand its meaning, I ask for calm and patience as our scientists analyze this development." The energy patterns grew more complex over the following hours. Dr. Mikhail Volkov, stationed at the European Space Agency, made a startling observation. "The patterns, they're not random. They're building toward something, like a countdown we can't decipher." Military forces worldwide moved to highest alert. General Williams coordinated with his international counterparts, preparing for any possibility. If they're preparing to move, we need to be ready for anything. Then, 12 hours into the new activity, humanity received its first direct contact. Not through radio waves or laser pulses, but through something far more disturbing. People around the world, exactly 73 individuals, suddenly collapsed. When they awakened moments later, they spoke with one voice, in perfect unison, regardless of their native language. We have observed, we have measured, we have decided. The message lasted only seconds before the affected individuals returned to normal, with no memory of the event. But the impact was immediate and profound. The aliens could reach directly into human minds. Dr. Vasquez worked frantically to understand the communication. They chose one person for each ship, she noted. The selection seems random, different ages, nationalities, professions. But why this method? Why now? Before anyone could formulate theories, the alien ships began to move. Not toward Earth, but in a complex dance around it. They shifted positions with impossible precision, their formation evolving into something new. Captain Rodriguez watched from the ISS as the massive vessels rearranged themselves. Control, they're forming a new pattern. It's beautiful, mathematical, like a three-dimensional mandala. The dance lasted exactly 1 hour. When it ended, the ships had formed a complex geometric pattern that scientists quickly identified as a multidimensional representation of prime numbers, a universal mathematical truth. Then came the second message, delivered through the same 73 individuals. Your species shows promise, but promise alone is insufficient. We leave you with a gift and a challenge. The energy readings from the ships peaked. Space itself seemed to bend around them. Dr. Chen watched her instruments go wild. This is impossible. They're generating gravitational fields that shouldn't exist. In space, Captain Rodriguez reported something extraordinary. Control, the ships. They're becoming transparent. I can see through them. Around Earth, crowds gathered to witness the spectacle. The alien ships, once solid and imposing, were fading like morning mist. But as they vanished, they left something behind. A perfectly stable wormhole, small but unmistakable, hanging in space where ship A1 had been. One by one, the ships disappeared, each leaving a similar anomaly. 73 wormholes now surrounded Earth, each leading to an unknown destination. The scientific community erupted in chaos and excitement. Dr. Volkov led the analysis. These aren't just wormholes. They're stable artificial constructs. The energy required to create even one is beyond our theoretical limits. They've left us doorways to somewhere. Probe launches began within hours. The first robotic explorers sent back data that defied explanation. Each wormhole led to a different star system, each containing an Earth-like planet. More incredibly, each planet showed signs of ancient ruins, civilizations that had risen and fallen long before humanity learned to use tools. Dr. Mitchell, the psychologist, offered insight into the aliens' behavior. They tested us. Not our technology or military might, but our patience, our ability to remain civilized under pressure. We passed their test. The third and final message came not through human hosts, but inscribed on monuments found on each of the discovered worlds, written in mathematical symbols that Dr. Vasquez's team quickly deciphered. To those who would join the community of worlds, you have shown restraint in the face of the unknown. The paths are open. The choice is yours. We will watch your journey with interest. The aftermath reshaped human civilization. The wormholes, quickly dubbed inheritance gates by the media, became the focus of humanity's greatest collaborative effort. Nations that had squabbled for resources now worked together to explore these gifts. Dr. Chen led one of the first manned expeditions, standing on an alien world, surrounded by ruins that predated human civilization by millions of years. She felt both humbled and inspired. Their teachers, she radioed back to Earth. The aliens, they're gardeners of intelligence, cultivating species across the galaxy. General Williams, now head of Earth's United Exploration Command, addressed the first wave of colonists. We thought they came to conquer. Instead, they came to test if we were ready for a larger universe. We are. Earth's society transformed rapidly. Old conflicts seemed petty in the face of 73 new worlds to explore. Technology advanced in leaps as humans studied the wormhole generators. Most importantly, humanity's perspective shifted. They were no longer alone, and they had been judged worthy of joining something greater. Dr. Vasquez published her analysis of the alien communication method. They could have destroyed us without effort. Instead, they chose to evaluate our potential. Their silence wasn't cruelty. It was the test itself. Children who had grown up under the shadow of silent alien ships now trained to explore new worlds. Artists found inspiration in alien architectures. Scientists developed theories about the network of civilizations the aliens seemed to represent. Yet questions remained. Who were the aliens? Where did they come from? Would they return? The monuments on the discovered worlds hinted at a vast galactic community, but offered no clear answers about humanity's benefactors. Professor Mitchell reflected on the psychological impact. They showed us we could face the unknown without losing ourselves. That may have been their greatest gift, not the wormholes, but the confidence that we're ready for what lies beyond. As Earth's first interstellar vessels prepared to launch, using adapted alien technology to traverse the inheritance gates, humanity stood at the threshold of a new era. The silent fleet that had surrounded Earth was gone, but their impact would resonate through human history forever. The stars no longer seemed cold and distant. They were destinations, challenges, opportunities. Humanity had been tested and found worthy. Now, it was time to earn that judgment. In observatories worldwide, scientists monitored deep space, wondering if the silent fleet would return. But whether they did or not, their purpose was served. Humanity was no longer trapped on a single world. The universe awaited, and humans were finally ready to explore it. The last anyone had seen of the alien fleet was their fade out into transparency. But their legacy, 73 doorways to the stars, ensured they would never be forgotten. Earth's greatest fear had become its greatest opportunity. And somewhere in the vast cosmos, perhaps the silent watchers smiled, knowing another species had joined the eternal journey toward the stars.